It's showtime.
Hello and welcome to Musical Lyrical Lingo. We're your hosts, Tim
and LJ. Today and every week we will be discussing musicals and specifically what they taught us.
We're back.
I know, it's been a while.
Yeah, well, someone went on holiday.
I know.
Did you have a good time?
Oh, it was so good.
Chicago.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I walked loads, like 12 miles a day.
Isn't that weird? Why do people do that on holiday? I mean, I did exactly the same thing when we were in Rome, but like...
I think it's just exploring.
Yeah.
You just... And that, it was all... So Chicago's like New York, where it's built in blocks. Mm-hmm. So we were just able to walk and then continue walking. Oh no, here, what's that up there? And just keep going and going and going. And the concierge told us, every 800 is a mile, so we knew that we were on 700 North, so we kind of were able to figure loads of things out, which was class. But yeah, I loved it.
And did you go and explore the McClurg?
I did, and I will put the picture up. So I stood outside Lizzie McNeil's bar on North McClurg Street.
That's so cool.
I know.
And you came across a Tim's.
Yes, Tim. Oh, I can't remember.
I can't remember it either. But I was very impressed.
Yeah,
I was yeah, I'm everywhere.
You are.
What can I say?
And it was a pub. So
how did the deep dish go?
Oh my gosh, that thing is a monster. It was delicious.
It did look like a monster, like.
It was delicious, and it was the first thing that we had once we got settled into the hotel.
Okay.
And we were like, we'll order a small. It says serves between 2 to 3 people. That'll be fine.
A small serves between 2 to 3.
And we left 2 slices, which were massive.
Oh my goodness.
And I ate 1 slice, and I swear we were in a wee booth, and I was like, Dad, can I just lie down and go to sleep?
After 1 slice?
It was so filling. It's a pie. Yeah. It took 45 minutes for it to cook.
Oh, dear God. I don't know if I could wait that long for my food.
Well, we did have calamari to start with, so it probably wasn't the best idea, fried food. I mean, a cocktail.
Okay.
But, yeah.
But you'd have it again?
Yes, but certainly couldn't have it every night.
And do you prefer it to pizza?
Oh, I don't know about that now.
Can you even compare... Is it so different that there isn't even a comparison? Or is it still a pizza?
No,
even though it's a pie? Right, okay.
That's how I would describe it, more as a pie, but with cheese and tomato.
But am I right in saying that's the American's pizza?
No, this is just Chicago's pizza.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So, no, because it's like your pie crust around the edge.
Okay.
And then we had like meat and stuff in it. Oh, so nice. Then it was all meat and then cheese, and then the sauce is put on top, and then it's baked again.
Which is so weird.
I know. So it's like comes out and it's like a red sauce.
Okay,
with a big thick.
But everything's underneath that red sauce. Oh, so it's like secret underneath.
Mm-hmm. And there was a massive cheese pull.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's what I thought when I saw your picture, your video. I was like, look at the cheese. I love cheese.
I love cheese. I adore cheese.
Oh, well, that's good that you had a good time.
Yeah, it was great. It was really good. I definitely would go back. And we did loads of cultural stuff. And next time I'm going back, I'm making sure there's a show on. Yeah. Because they were getting so hyped up because Hamilton is actually there now, and it's there for the next year.
Oh my goodness! Wow! I know. Right? Okay.
So that was everywhere, and then this really magical play was meant to be there like 2 days after we left. So I was like, "That's it. I'm never going again when the theatres are black." Because
now you know what time of the year that is the case there. So very good.
Yeah, it was really cool because it was kind of different. It kind of had a Broadway feel to it.
Yeah.
But it didn't at the same time because the lights around the theatres looked really old. Like it looked like old school.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
So. Oh, good. Well,
it was fun, but I'm glad to be back. I missed you.
And it's been busy, hasn't it? Like, you've been busy since you've been back.
I feel like I never stopped.
We were at a hen do at the weekend.
We were. I know. The wedding's so soon.
It's very exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So our guests from a couple of episodes ago, Caitlin and Jamie, are getting married.
Yeah. And we were all very swanky and black, weren't we? I thought we were working backstage at one point. That's like, I had to go and buy a new outfit, dear, because the only blacks I have are like Trumpy out things you'd wear backstage or for workouts.
Oh my goodness.
Talking about workouts.
Yes.
I've just come directly from the gym.
Go! Yay!
I know.
I am so proud of you.
Well, what I'm going for is Rocky and Rocky Horror Show. You know, I think I could get into
I thought
those.
you were going to say Rocky as in Rocky Balboa.
No, Rocky out of Rocky Horror Show with his tight gold lame, pants. I think that's what I'm going for. I'm going to keep pumping the iron until I have a physique that I can pull that off. Stop looking at me like that.
I know, but in my head, all I can see is Sylvester Stallone in those Rocky pants from Rocky Horror.
Okay.
But you know what? I'm so proud of you. So proud.
Oh, so I've just seen lovely pictures. That's what I'm going to look like. Look. So we're joined by someone very special today.
Yes.
We've stopped banishing him to his bedroom. But I also feel we need to be on our best behaviour now that he's here. We've met. We are with our executive producer.
Yes. And husband of this podcast.
And husband of this podcast. Aaron, say hello, Aaron.
Hello, Aaron.
So Aaron has just shown me a picture of Rocky in his gold lame pants. That's exactly what I'm after.
I think I might have to delete my browsing history.
You might have to.
Not the kind of thing I can bring up in work, you know.
No. No.
Yes. It's good to join you.
Give me time and I will look like
Well,
Rocky.
I'm so proud that you are at the gym and you are enjoying it because that's important.
Did I say I'm enjoying it?
As in, you're enjoying...
I don't think those words came out of my
No,
mouth.
but you're enjoying, being at the gym.
Yes, no, that's
As
very
in?
true. Yeah. Well, I'm still going, so...
Well done,
Hey
you.
ho. I just live in fear that you're going to shout at me for not going.
A lot of people do live in fear.
Anyway, shall we move on to this week's musical? So, on Sunday when we were at the hen do, you were in all black. We were in all black apart from you.
Yeah. Well, I was in all black.
Well, you were in all black until I looked down at your feet. I did get very excited when I looked down at your feet. I don't have a foot fetish, that sounds wrong. Aaron's also just pulled a funny face. No, I saw your shoes, your footwear.
Yep.
What were you wearing?
I was wearing Rubik's slippers.
Yeah, and I thought, she's getting ready.
I was.
She's getting ready for the podcast.
I was. And I just wanted to wear them because I knew that we were recording that this week and I love those shoes.
Yeah, so what are we doing?
We're doing Wizard of Oz.
For anyone out there that doesn't know the reference to Ruby Slippers and the Wizard of Oz. Yep.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing.
And I promise I'm going to be much more optimistic, and just a nicer person in this episode because I did listen to the last one and honestly, I did come across very negatively.
Do you know, and I keep telling you, it's totally fine. We all have our own opinion.
I'm not a negative perfect person.
No, but you speak the truth. So you're not going to, we're going to sit and have a whole episode on Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and say that because that's not you. And loads of people would know that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So it was totally fine.
Yeah.
And it was justified.
I have been abused though. I've got text messages.
I hear this is the part that I like is that I'm not alone.
I was in work today and one of the classroom assistants, I was walking out the kids down to the playground and she was out with her class and she was like, "You're so wrong." I was like, what are you talking about? And then it clicked, podcast. She's talking about the podcast.
Love it.
But then I also did get a message from my friend Bex who said I hate chili. So mixed messages.
But then again, Bex is coming from a creative point of view.
I don't know. I haven't actually got into the depths as to why.
Okay.
I can't talk about it again. I can't talk about the music.
Okay, well then let's move on. Let's move on to Wizard of Oz.
Have you got background?
I've got background.
You're out of the woods, you're out of the dark.
Oh,
You're out of the night.
that's lovely.
Thank you.
Okay. Wizard of Oz was a film in 1939.
And we move on.
So it's based on, it's an American musical fantasy film produced by MGM, but it is based on L. Frank Baum. Is that the right pronunciation?
I was so glad you were doing the background because I wanted to know how you were going to pronounce that name. I think so. B-A-U-M. How else would you pronounce it? Baum?
Baum. I think we're... Oh, yeah, we right? Baum. Okay.
Yeah. So we've also realised that we need Aaron here to fact check things that we're saying in this podcast. Could you just fact check that and Google there, Aaron?
So he wrote the fantasy novel in 1900, and the music then of the film was composed by Harold Arlen. Yes, and adapted by Herbert Stothart, and lyrics by Edgar Harburg. Yeah.
Well done.
I know, I kind of got through those all right. Did you know that whenever the movie was made, and it cost them $4 million, which is the equivalent to $62 million today?
That is mental.
Isn't it?
Is that because they hired so many blooming people to work on this?
That was that, and then it was the Technicolor.
Yeah.
Was massive.
Because, do you know, no fewer than 10 screenwriters worked on the screenplay for the film? Yeah. And the first was fired within a couple of weeks. Then 4 directors worked on the film, but Victor Fleming was the only one that was credited in the final credits. Yes,
until he died in the 40s, and then the guy that took over, then he took his credit. So we're getting shown something. It's actually around 65 million.
No, the average Hollywood budget today for a movie sits at $65 million US. So it's actually coming in just under average.
Oh.
There you go.
Well, I still thought that was pretty expensive.
I think in those days it probably was, though, wasn't it? Look at the big budgets you get now. What was I going to say? And the directors were fired too. The first was fired after 2 weeks because he didn't understand the story, apparently. And then another lasted less than 3 days.
I know it's almost like there was a curse put on it. It took a lot for the film to be made and for them to get the right people. There was the incident with the witch being burned.
I don't know this incident.
Yeah, so whenever the Wicked Witch of the West is first shown on screen, it's like a puff of red smoke. You know that in Munchkinland? She was burned then. Oh. But I think there's also stories that it actually maybe wasn't her, it was her understudy or stunt double, was burnt. Then the original Tin Man, he was allergic to the paint, and then they had to replace him.
Seriously?
The mask for the Scarecrow was too tight, and he felt like he was suffocating during the scenes.
They were all clearly very precious back in the day.
Poor Judy. For those that know me, know I'm a massive Judy Garland fan, but poor Judy. Probably go into it in a wee bit more detail. In fact, we'll go into a wee bit more detail later on about her. But yeah, there was issues with her. And then the lion costume is made out of real lion fur. Yes.
That's so wrong.
Yeah. And in the scene where there are poppies and they've got to go to sleep, and then Glinda puts the snow on them, that's asbestos.
Oh my goodness, wow.
Right, I know. So, anyway, it was a critical success. Nominated for 6 Academy Awards. Won Best Original Song for Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And Best Original Score went to Stothart.
Even though Somewhere Over the Rainbow nearly got axed from the original.
Well, it actually was the last song to be written.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? That's happened in... music movie and musical history, hasn't it? Many times where the big number or the hit almost didn't make the cut in the first place. Or
it's been an afterthought.
Yeah. So it's mad, isn't it?
Isn't it really, really strange? Well, I've written a little bit about what Wizard of Oz is, in case there's somebody out there in the world that doesn't know.
That would blow my mind.
I know, but I've said the movie is set in Kansas, where Dorothy Gale lives with her aunt and uncle on a farm. And I've said, basically, she hits her head, gets caught in the tornado, ends up in Oz, meets 3 strangers, a tin man, a scarecrow, lion, along with a few witches, needs to find the Wizard of Oz to get home, and she kills a couple of witches in the process.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it in a nutshell.
That paints Dorothy in quite a bit poor light, though, doesn't it? She doesn't mean to kill the first one. Her house lands on top of her.
Yeah.
And she's no other choice with the second one, she thinks.
Yeah, true.
Maybe.
Did you know?
No.
That this is another political?
Is it?
Yes.
Good old musicals.
But it was actually Frank.
I feel we could go into politics now after the number of musicals we've discussed in this
Probably
podcast.
could. Probably do a better job.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Is actually L. Frank Baum. Bomb.
Bomb. Bomb, 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 bomb.
So, now, husband of the podcast, you might need to help me with this.
Google.
It was a political allegory. Is that the right word? Allegory. Allegory of the turn of the century USA about populism.
Right.
Okay.
This is so over my head big time.
OZ, Oz, is an abbreviation for ounce, the standard measurement used for gold. Mm-hmm. Dorothy is to represent every man. Tin Man is to represent the industrial worker. Scarecrow was the farmer. The lion was William Jennings Bryan. I didn't have time to look up who that was. Yeah. So, the wizard then represents the president at the time, and the munchkins all represent just little people, like not actual little people, but just, and then the yellow brick road is the gold standard, and Toto was just a dog.
Very good. I get what they were doing there, trying to make a political statement, but it's a bit far-fetched, isn't it? Like they've crowbarred some of that in.
I'm just letting you know.
But that's very interesting.
Yeah. So
very good.
So there we go.
And then, of course, I suppose this is a podcast about musicals. So the film was such a hit, and is one of those films that is on during the holiday seasons, and I don't mind watching. Unlike some that we've talked about before. But then, of course, it did eventually become a musical. But I was quite shocked that it didn't appear on stage earlier.
Do you know, I think they were holding out for a sequel.
A hero?
A sequel. I really think
you
that
reckon?
They thought, yeah.
Well, they have done sequels, haven't they, though? No, have they not? Like Back to Oz, or is that a
No,
that's freaky.
Right, so,
that's scary. That freaks the life out of me.
The Wonderful Wizard of Oz book series is, I think, one of like 13 or 15 or something like that. So the Wizard of Oz film is actually a couple of those books together. And then Return of Oz is a couple of the books together with the Wheelers and the one that removes her head and the chicken instead of the dog and all of those things. So, yeah, I think I don't know, maybe just they didn't like how much it cost them and they couldn't bring everybody back together. But that's my personal opinion. I think they were hoping to do a series of it. It just never manifested into anything.
Yeah, well, 2011, the musical with book adapted by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Jeremy Sams seems to be one of the more talked about musical adaptions of it. Music used the original, Harold Arlen and E.Y. Harburg's, is that what you said? Harburg songs from the film, but also included new songs and additional music from Andrew Lloyd Webber with additional lyrics by Tim Rice. There's Tim Rice's name appearing again. And that was the third musical adaptation of the film following the 1942 version in the Muny, M-U-N-Y.
Oh.
And I think that's how you say it, Muny. They do some really class productions.
Okay.
And then also there was a 1987 version, but done by the Royal Shakespeare Company.
But there was definitely productions of it that was kind of just directly from screen to stage. Because we did like pantos of it, and
but I'm talking professional productions of it. Like there's
we did
endless
a panto of it, and that was professional.
Yeah, that's true. But that would have been after.
It wasn't after 2011.
Yeah, well, I
wonder, was that just the
I don't
most
know. Was there different
adapted?
rights? Maybe
Could have been that.
But I'm surprised that it took until say, 1942?
Yeah.
Before it hit the stage, especially when it was such a big film hit.
You think that,
and it's so it's easy to take from the screen to stage, isn't it? Like they wouldn't have had to change anything really.
No.
Until Andrew Lloyd Webber decided to mess about with it, but we might come on to that later.
The only thing I do remember though about, they cut out the Jitterbug.
Love it.
But that is always in stage productions.
Yeah, I love the Jitterbug.
Yeah.
Who's and I don't know the words because nobody does.
Yeah.
It's one of those songs that you make the words up.
Yeah.
The who's is, the what's is, the what's is.
Yeah. Okay.
Is he hiding in the tree tops?
That's very Into the Woods.
Yeah, well, I think it is set in the woods, in the forest,
that's
that
right.
number. Anyway, shall we move on to our musical lyrical lingo?
Yes.
Okay, so are you going to go first or will I?
You go first.
Okay, ding. Also, full disclosure, this is another one of the musicals where I don't think I can say the lyrics without singing them.
Okay, that's really fine.
Do you remember Chicago? I kind of turned into
a personal
Roxy.
performance.
Yeah. So in Ding Dong, the witch is dead.
Witch, oh witch, the wicked witch.
See, this is why we were born to do this podcast.
I know.
We sing, she's gone where the goblins go below, below, yo ho.
Let's open up and...
But obviously, because I first came to this when I was a wee babby, I didn't know what goblins were.
Oh,
how cute am I?
That is so sweet.
I know.
So Wizard of Oz told you what a goblin was?
Yeah, and I was like, what's a goblin?
Oh.
So I learned what a goblin was. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cute. In that song, I learned what a coroner was.
As coroner, philosopher. No, and it's not philosopher.
No, it's not.
That's a lyric I make up, but that's what I sing.
What is it?
As coroner, I must suffer something. It doesn't make sense.
I thoroughly examined her, and she's not only nearly dead, she's really most sincerely dead. I win the competition. Well. What are the right words?
I didn't even play the coroner,
Did you not?
No, I played the mayor of the Munchkin City in the county of the land of Oz. I welcome you most regally.
But we've got to verify it legally.
To see if she, and I don't remember all these words,
is
morally, ethically, spiritually, physically, absolutely, undeniably, and reliably dead. I think I've made up a few extras in there.
That's okay. We were trying to get up the lyrics.
Spiritually, physically, positively, absolutely, undeniably, and reliably dead.
And then coroner, I thoroughly examined her, and she's not only merely dead, she's really most sincerely dead.
Yep, so it's I thoroughly examined her, not philosopher that I sing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was the same. I didn't know what a coroner was either.
Yeah. I remember asking my dad that.
There you go.
Yeah, so I definitely remember being told that. Also, when I said those big words, morally, ethically, positively, and undeniably.
Well, I'm glad we sang that bit. now the listeners know what we're talking about, those big words. Yeah. Very hard to learn when you're a child of
4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was maybe a wee bit older than 4, but yeah.
Well, that's whenever I first did.
Were you a lullaby league?
Of course I was.
What were lullaby leagues and lollipop guilds?
Well, the real lullaby leagues were just professional ballet dancers, so I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know.
That was a thing. Lullaby leagues were professional ballet dancers. That's what they were called. Lullaby leagues.
Well, I don't know if that's right, or just the ones that played them in Wizard of Oz were professional ballet dancers. Right, okay, so yeah. I don't know.
No, because I always wondered what are the lullaby leagues and what are the lollipop guilds, and then I just thought maybe they made them up.
Yeah, I thought they were just like a
fictional kind of lovely species of munchkin. God bless them. Yeah, very good. Let's move on really quickly. If I only had a brain. I've got a wee musical.
Oh, do you?
I've actually got a musical lyrical lingo for each of the three. So obviously, as Dorothy made her way through Oz, she started to meet her soon-to-be friends one at a time. So she met the Scarecrow first, and he sings If I Only Had a Brain. And then she met the Tin Man. He sings If I Only Had a Heart. And then finally the Lion. So I have one for each. So in If I Only Had a Brain, the Scarecrows, he says, with the thought you'll be thinking you could be another Lincoln. And he's referring to Abraham Lincoln. And again, I didn't know who Abraham Lincoln was at that time. Then in If I Only Had a Heart, the Tin Man's one, he sings, picture me, a balcony, above a voice sings low, wherefore art thou, Romeo? I hear a beat, how sweet. And that was kind of the first reference to Shakespeare I ever experienced in life, because obviously it's based on Romeo and Juliet. I didn't really understand it at the time, but as on that, when I got to know Shakespeare, I was like, oh, that's a reference to falling in love and Romeo and Juliet, And then If I Only Had a Noive, which the Lions is the Lions song, he sings, yeah, it said, believe me, missy, when you're born to be a sissy, without the vim and voive. And I didn't know what vim and voive was.
Still don't.
Vim and voive, it stands for energy and enthusiasm.
Oh, okay. Well, in Nerve, I had gizzard.
Yeah.
But is this right that a gizzard is a bird's stomach?
What's the line that he sings? Something that meow.
I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't know why. Just Aaron's nodding. It is the
bird's stomach. Okay. It's something about I'd be stronger than a gizzard.
Yeah. Stronger than a bird's stomach.
Yeah.
There you go. Birds must have tough out stomachs.
Well, I suppose they are eating like a lot of... But I just thought that was weird. Well, it is
but
weird.
Sometimes when you just can't get a lyric to fit, you'll throw in anything.
Yeah. I have one from Munchkinland.
Yes.
Thumbing for a hitch.
Oh, yes.
Thumbing for a hitch. I never knew. Hitchhiking and thumbing, that you put out your thumb for a hitchhike ride.
Oh, that's a clever lyric.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that one.
Thumbing for a hitch. And then after that she goes, ooh, what happened then was this.
The house began to twitch.
Yeah.
The stitches.
And then it's the kitchen slitch.
It landed on the wicked witch in the middle of a ditch. Which was not. Yeah. So the problem always was with the Wizard of Oz. It's really wordy. Yeah. Especially that sequence, isn't it? Like when she drops her house in Munchkinland and she wakes up from the tornado and experiences Munchkinland for the first time. It's like an epic section, isn't it? It's like 13 minutes long.
Fast.
And it goes through loads of things really quickly, so it's really, really wordy. I made up most of the words, to be fair. Yeah. I really did.
I think that's the problem.
I couldn't learn them all.
It's not that we don't research these musicals, it's just because we've done them for so long with our own
We just
words.
learned them incorrectly.
We learned them incorrectly, so it's really hard.
So it's never going to be
is that what it says?
A mechanical stomach of a bird.
Okay. So the reason it says tougher than a gizzard is because poultry doesn't have teeth. And they swallow the feed whole. It's the gizzard that does all the hard work and grinds down food. So it's a rather tough organ.
And that's why we've got an executive producer.
I love it. Okay. And then the line in Munchkinland, Aaron, where it says thumb for hitch, and then the kitchen took a slitch. That's definitely the line. The kitchen took a slitch. It landed on the wicked witch in the middle of a ditch. But is the kitchen slitch just mean like the kitchen, like everything?
The kitchen took a slitch.
Yeah.
Would make you think the kitchen did something because of the twister or tornado.
Like, did it break off or something?
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway.
In If I Only Had the Nerve, the lion also sings, but I could show my prowess, be a lion, not a mouse.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what prowess was. It's actually skill or courage or expertise. Bravery in battle is prowess.
Oh, I always thought it was just powers and he just changed it for...
Right, see? Because he wants to be the king of the forest. Oh, I have one for king of the forest.
If I were king
That's my song.
of the forest.
Cannot believe you stole that line from me. I played the blimmin' part. Did you play the line? No. You didn't.
I can't believe you're really upset.
I am absolutely livid. I'm about to walk out, to be quite honest with you.
Do you know what? Just
No.
Nobody will remember I sang it. Go for it. Go.
If I were a king of the forest.
I prefer my version, but
You're
anyway.
full of, right, I'm gone. See ya, I'm out. Anyway, my regal robes of the... I had to learn to roll my R's. Of the forest, he sings, not satin, not cotton, not chintz.
Yes, which was...
CHINTZ.
Yeah, a printed and stained textile.
Yeah, a glazed, like, plain woven fabric.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Again, thought that was just a made-up word to rhyme.
Yeah. The chipmunks genuflect to me. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what genuflect was. So that's the act of bending a knee to the ground.
Oh.
I loved that number, you know.
Yeah, you're quite good at it.
Well, people will never know because you stole my thunder here. I can't actually. Of all the things I was looking forward to in this podcast, I was singing that one line.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, have you got any other musical lyrical lingo that I can sing over?
Descendants. I learned that word, descendants.
What's that in?
I think it's in Munchkinland.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think it's in Ding Dong.
Are you sure?
Do you know what?
I mean, we're just doing a podcast, Lauren. I mean, let's just pick... You know what? It could be in Legally Blonde. Who knows? Sure.
Well, there you go.
Do you want to give them a third option?
No, I don't.
Okay.
You cheeky shit.
You just swore in our podcast. This is going downhill really quickly. I said I was going to be really positive this week.
Anyway, what are...
Can we talk about the Merry... I haven't finished because I actually did my research, you see, and I know what the...
Okay.
Anyway, from the Merry Old Land of Oz, where they, like, get all fixed up.
Yep, all greenified.
Greenified, and the line gets out clipped and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They sing clip, clip here, clip, clip there, give him the roughest claws, the certain air of savoir-faire.
Oh, and what is that?
In the Merry Old Land of Oz. Savoir-faire is like a social skill. It's like the ability to act or speak appropriately in social situations.
Oh.
Which was ideal for the lion because he was cowardly and he couldn't do that. Yeah.
And also like as if they were taming him because he was a lion. You know, taming him for...
Yeah, for social situations. Yeah. So there you go.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a wee bit of learning.
There was a wee bit of learning, indeed, in some songs. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Enjoyed that. Thanks for
all
those lessons there and your research.
Yeah, but
That's good. That's good. Memories, connections.
I don't have it. No, I don't. Well, it was quite heavily involved, wasn't it, in our growing up?
Yeah. In
stage school, we did... Did we do it a couple of times? We definitely did it a couple of times because I remember the first time we did it, I was Lollipop Guild, and then we did it again, or we did a section of it, and I was the mayor of the Munchkin City. But I always remember looking up to the girl who played the lion and being like, oh, I would love to play that part sometime. And then I eventually got to play the part of the lion, which was great.
Okay, I'm really confused by that timeline though, because you weren't at stage school the same year that I was at stage school.
So I definitely have played a Lollipop Guild. And then we did like a wee like summer thing in Donaghadee one year where I did because when I did the Munchkin, Mayor of Munchkin City.
Okay. Yeah, so I remember you dressed as the mayor.
We've done it so many times.
Yeah, I think maybe that's it. But I did it whenever I was 4 and I was lullaby. Like, but you weren't at stage school then.
No.
So maybe we did it just for another wee small thing and you were a Lollipop Guild. Or maybe we repeat. Do you remember actually we used to repeat things for a couple of... So maybe it was like you joined like...
Yeah.
And
like it was done
later
to death.
We did that. Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the time that you were the lion, I was the wizard.
That's right, you were the wizard.
I was the wizard in The Wizard of Oz.
So what you're saying, it was all about you?
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not going to argue with you, to be honest with you. I'm over it. I'm over this episode already.
Oh, shush.
And then obviously you mentioned it earlier about the panto.
Yes.
1 year. Was that a summer panto?
It was a summer panto with Toya Wilcox as the Wicked Witch.
And that's so I remember that because I think shortly after that, then Teletubbies came onto the TV. Yeah, and Toya Wilcox is the voice of the sunshine.
Oh, okay. I was like, there's no connection there. Get it.
Massive
Get it.
connection.
Yeah.
And I'm going, that's the witch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember her melting was cool.
Yes.
Like it looked really cool on stage.
And Toby Antis. I think I said that.
Oh my
was
goodness,
the Scarecrow.
that's right. I totally forgot that he was
Yeah.
a scarecrow.
We had some really good names.
It
for
was
that.
a really good show because we were also slightly older, so we got to do a few like extra wee bits in it, which like we were the Winkies, weren't we? And did the ooh wee oh ooh ooh wee oh ooh over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that, and we were in Merry Old Land of Oz. Did we do a tap dance in Merry Old Land of Oz?
No, I think our tap dance was in R.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. It's one of those shows that is done so, or even in stage school now, we're still doing Wizard of Oz's every 6-7 years. You know, it's so they all just like glue into one. But great like when I played the lion, like I remember that. And you played the wizard, of course. Let's not forget.
Yep.
I remember really enjoying that, like doing that production of it.
Yeah, and again, we were a wee bit older. That was probably whenever we were starting to actually audition for roles and wanting to get roles.
Yeah.
We were in those early teens stage. So it was like, yes, I can command the stage and do that. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. And then obviously the TV show came along, which kind of like injected it even more into like popular culture.
Yeah, so it followed the Oliver, which we talked about before, Looking for Nancy.
Yeah.
And Oliver, the Joseph, and Jesus Christ Superstar. Or was that Jesus Christ Superstar, the last one?
Yeah, that's right. I forgot they did a Jesus Christ Superstar one. Yeah, it was called Somewhere Over the Rainbow, wasn't it?
Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It was straight after Nancy because they were also looking for Toto, and then Jodie was the one who was sort of looking for the Toto.
Oh, what? I don't even remember that.
I've rewatched a few episodes
you watched
and it's
them
on YouTube.
Oh, very good. The one thing I remember about it was just so how brutal the elimination was. Like, absolutely horrific.
I know. I think that one kind of took the mick a wee bit too much, because in all the ones it was like they took off the necklace, and this one she had to get rid of her shoes.
She had to take her ruby slippers off.
And then they were passed to Andrew Lloyd Webber, and then she had to get into this big moon thing and then fly away.
Yeah, and I think clearly the Nancys in that like kind of first series of that format of those type of shows, they were very well behaved and they were all very gracious in their exits. Do you know what I mean? They took it on the chin and and went and kept their dignity, whereas some of the Dorothys were clearly absolutely livid.
That's right. That's right.
And it made great TV, like, because it was so brittle.
I know. It was another good one again. I think it was those, there's something to do with musical theatre. And I was kind of excited for that revamp, that new adaptation.
So was I until I heard the soundtrack.
Yeah, and now this is how I kind of feel about Wizard of Oz.
Okay, so I'm glad we've got to this stage, because you literally dropped a bombshell at the end of the last episode.
I know.
So I have known you basically your whole life.
Yeah.
And you have always been obsessed. That's the only word we can use to describe your feelings towards the Wizard of Oz and Dorothy and the slipper. Like, I mean, you must have every bit of merchandise or every ornament going to do with the Wizard of Oz.
And seeing as we're talking about that, that's one of my connections, is that you always buy me little presents to do with Wizard of Oz. And you always, and I think I've said this to you recently, and I kind of did want to wait until we were doing a podcast about it, but it kind of like came out. You always tend to buy me something to do with Wizard of Oz whenever I just need it the most, and I don't realise that I need it.
Oh.
And you just like either randomly show up with like a little placard that says you've always had the power, my dear, you just didn't know, or there's like, oh, here, I've seen this little picture and I thought of you, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it is because you've known me like pretty much my whole life.
We're so in sync.
I know, but it is always lovely. So it's not that I don't. I still love Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
I just don't like what the musical Wizard of Oz is becoming. To me, I feel it's like Annie and Oliver now. I would put them, Annie and Oliver and Wizard of Oz, all in the same bracket.
Because they're overplayed and just churned out.
Overdone, and I think it's losing its magic. And I'm kind of like, oh, not another one.
Yeah.
Oh, how are they going to do it now? And to me, I'm not excited about, like, even that one that was on the Palladium there, and I know that it's going to be touring. I'm not excited about it. I've seen snippets of it, I've watched it, and I'm just like, whoa.
I think because they're like, and I get that some musicals that have been around for a long time, there comes a time with modern audiences and things like that, and new audiences, that you have to update it a bit or re-inject it with something more.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? But I just don't know if what they're injecting the new productions of The Wizard of Oz is the right stuff, I think.
No, and I think Wizard of Oz is very, very unique. It's of a time, it's of an era.
Yeah.
It's almost cliche where you know, they're so sweet.
Yeah.
That life's not like that anymore. Life probably wasn't like that then, but it was just a simpler time, you know.
But it's also okay, like, to go and get lost in that, I suppose, if you go to the theatre, just to go into a rabbit hole of, like, a different world, which is just bubblegums and rabbits. No?
But and that's where I feel like the essence of Wizard of Oz is being like
ripped out.
Yeah. It's being diluted. It's no longer there. And I'm like, I really wish somebody would just put it on a shelf for a few years.
Yeah,
like a good few years, and let's just not, because I'm getting sick of it. And also,
and if you're getting sick of it, there's no hope for the rest of us.
And I loved it whenever I was younger. Loved it. And then whenever I come back to it, it's a very long film. And see, by the time you get to King of the Forest, and, you know, Have Courage and all of that, you're like, oh my goodness, this film is still going on.
Isn't that interesting? Because your feeling towards the film is the same as my feeling towards Chitty. Like, I always just thought the pace of the plot, and we're not going back there because I am being positive this week, but I always felt the pace of Chitty dragged.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I was bored too early in it. Do you know what I mean? So, and we've got the running time of Wizard of Oz is 1 hour 52 minutes.
That's
for the film.
long.
Yeah, it is long. Yeah, but I don't feel that as much when I watch the Wizard of Oz the film. I think because it moves, or like they're constantly on a journey.
Yes,
I don't know
that.
what I'm trying to say, or there's enough new characters to meet along the way that it dilutes that time,
I think that's probably why by the point we get to King of the Forest, I'm like, I've kind of met everybody now. Right, let's just kill the witch and get back home.
Get done with it.
You know, I'm kind of like, what else do we have left here?
So then, why on earth, in the 2011 production, did they add extra songs? Now, I'm going to contradict myself in a minute, and I'm prepared for the backlash. But, like, they put in, like, an extra song for the wizard and, like, extra wee songs here and there. Or, like, taken a song and done extra reprises of things. Like, really weird. But the wizard song is absolutely cack. It's awful. It's terrible.
I don't think I know it, like, off the top of my head.
He has two, because he sings one... I'm almost sure he sings one when he meets her first as the
fortune teller.
The fortune teller, and then he has one as the wizard. Yeah, I'm almost sure there's two. So I say that, right, and they're not needed, and I don't like them. However, one of my standing ovations for the musical of Wizard of Oz is the new song that was written for The Witch.
Oh, okay.
It's called Red Shoes Blues. Have you heard it?
Yes, I've heard it.
I think it's class.
It is, but it's very different again to the style of...
Of course it is, yeah.
I don't always feel it fits.
No, well, it wouldn't fit in the original at all. But I just like the song, and I also like the actress who played the witch, Hannah Waddingham.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Now of TED fame.
Yep.
I love that someone has got so famous in TV now, but they originally came from the world of musical theatre.
And you know what? We were terrible. We didn't mention her in Into the Woods episode because she plays a magnificent witch.
You're right.
Magnificent.
You're right. That's bad of us.
And that was terrible of us.
That is bad of us. But I think there's legs in an episode like that. I think maybe somewhere along the lines we can do like a wee episode where we take some really iconic characters in musicals.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
Maybe have like our top 3 actresses or actors that play each of them. So we might come back to Hannah and Into the Woods.
I love that idea.
Time.
Yes, let's do that.
It just came into my head. What can I say?
You are wonderful.
So you still have a deep-rooted love for your childhood love of The Wizard of Oz has not gone, and you won't happily sit down and watch the film. You think it's too long? I don't think You'll listen to it and sing along.
I'll listen to it and I'll sing along.
Using the wrong words.
If it was on, I probably would watch it, but I don't think I will ever sit down and put it on.
Yeah, it's funny. It's one of those films that I remember my initial reactions to certain moments in it, like that moment where the red smoke comes out of the floor and the witch then appears behind that red smoke. Like I remember watching that for the first time and being like, wow! Like, and
I think they do. The movie is great. Like it's in the top 100 movies to watch. It's in the top 10 for the best films of all time. It's in the top 10 for movies you should watch before you're 14 and movies you should watch before you're age 15.
Okay.
And I think it's always going to be around, but it's so wonderful how it goes from that black and white Kansas dreary hope to then this beautiful Technicolor. And again, that's the only reason why the ruby slippers are ruby.
Did I make it up that it was one of the first pictures that actually had colour?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't make that up.
Yeah.
So imagine seeing that for the first time.
I know. And that's why ruby slippers were red.
Yeah.
So that, because it's silver in the books, so that they really, really stood out.
Yeah.
And again, that kind of, I'm like, if you're going to do your own adaptation of Wizard of Oz, what are you adapting? Are you adapting the novel or are you adapting the film?
Yeah.
Are you keeping the red? Or are you changing it into silver? I don't know.
No.
I kind of want it to be left alone.
If you're doing it, you need to do it with your ruby slippers. Like, that's so ridiculous to do it with. Saying that, I mean, we did like a section of Cinderella last year where the glass slipper was actually a sparkly DM.
But then the glass slipper in the original Griffin Fairy Tale was actually meant to be a leather slipper.
See, I knew that. That's why I went for the DM bit.
It's actually in the translation.
Oh, right.
That people think it's glass. Yeah, that's not actually how it was originally written. It wasn't glass.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you learn something new every episode.
Yep.
I've mentioned one of my stand ovations, the Red Shoes Blues, the Witches song. Do you have any stand ovations?
No, I just have a stand ovation for Judy Garland in the film.
Let's talk about Judy.
So, Judy was 16 whenever she did it. And all of these iconic images that we have of Wizard of Oz and her as Dorothy Gale, the blue Bingham was chosen just to make her look younger and thinner. She was on a diet of chicken, soup, cigarettes and coffee.
Cigarettes? Like at that? Like
2 packets a day. And then she was on lots of medication.
Yeah.
And you can tell there in the scene with the fortune teller, where he says, close your eyes, dear, and, you know, I'll take your basket, and then he starts rummaging through. As she closes her eyes, whenever she opens them, like, if you've ever seen somebody that's maybe taken one or two things, her eyes are all over the place, and you're like, she's only 16.
It's mad,
and her
isn't it?
hair was done like that to try and hide her face, and I just feel so sorry for her. She's wonderful. Like, she was a wonderful actress.
Yeah.
Singer, but she was given a real hard time.
So poorly treated, like so many people in the film industry of that time, and even earlier, more up to date. Like, yeah, it's just awful. And then obviously you watched Judy, the biopic picture. What do you think of it?
I haven't finished it.
Could you not finish it?
No, I think she does a great job. She's got her mannerisms and everything. Yeah. I just can't get through it, and I don't know whether it's not. I just don't want to finish it.
Okay. Oh no, it wasn't because of the reaction you were having to.
No.
Oh, right. I was like, oh, pet, I'll watch it with you. I will have the box of chocolates and the tissues, and we'll get through it together.
No, and I think as well, I would quite like to. I was trying to watch it with somebody, I think, or with a couple of people. And I was like, I think I just want to watch this by myself.
Okay.
And have like a moment to Judy.
Yeah.
But she's just the standard deviation, because I think you believe that she is that little girl from Kansas. You believe that she is so mesmerised whenever she walks through that door and into Munchkin Land. She just wants...
There was a reason why she was the star she was, because she was the best.
I know. So that's my standing ovation.
Judy Garland. And do try and get through to the end of the Judy biopic.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll make that.
Because I think the last 5 minutes in particular are beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's a hard slog and a hard watch like throughout, but to get to the end, and those last 5 minutes are I think are beautiful.
Okay, I will do that.
Oh, I'm glad. I honestly thought you were going to throw the ruby slippers at me and tell me to take them.
No, I definitely wasn't doing that.
Phew.
But maybe don't invite me to a
Although
production.
they'd look all right in my feet, the ruby slippers.
Would match your hair.
I did try on Sunday to rip them off your feet, but it didn't work.
No. And don't get me wrong, I will still always love a pair of ruby.
Sorry, I thought you were singing with me there. I will always love you. No,
I will always love a pair of ruby slippers.
Yeah. There's not many people that can go out in a pair of ruby slippers, but you, Lauren, are one person that can pull them
off. Oh, thank you. I love that. I'm going to take that and run with it.
Absolutely.
And
put it on a wee plaque.
There's not many people that can pull off a pair of ruby slippers, but you can.
Yeah.
Okay. Timothy Bell.
Yeah. I was going to say something to you there, and it's totally gone out of my head. What were we talking? Ruby slippers.
We're talking ruby slippers, and we were talking about Wizard of Oz.
Yes. No, I don't know. Gone. Completely gone.
But another wee fun fact, which I just think is lovely, of how the movie as well as the book affected people. So Dorothy is actually named after Baum's wife's niece, who died at 5 months old, and she is buried with a statue of Dorothy beside her grave, and that was so many million years ago. But isn't that just so lovely? Like, this wee little baby didn't know about Wizard of Oz, and yet has this wee Wizard of Oz statue beside her grave.
Bless. That's what I was going to say. The iconic song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, how do you feel about it?
Oh, I love it.
Do you? Still to this day?
Still to this day, but
even though it's sung by every Tom, Dick and Harry?
Only like Judy singing it.
Yeah.
I don't mind Liza singing it, but she'll never sing it. But
it's funny, isn't it? It's one of those ones that's on every musical theatre actress's own album. They've all given it a go.
Yeah, they have. Because I think it's one of those things you're like, oh, I have to do it. I feel like I should sing this. Some things are best not. What about Eva Cassidy's version? What did you think of that?
Okay, it's nice. Yeah, I liked Eva Cassidy back in the day.
Yeah, again, I see it as two different things, so I'm like, it's okay, but it's not Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
And it's a different thing. What she was doing was a different thing with it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't I'm going to sing the musical theatre version of...
Yes, I think that's it.
It's completely different.
That's it. And the same with, there's a lovely one at the end of Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore's 51st Dates, and it's on a, what do you call those things, Aaron? Ukulele.
Oh,
and it's quite nice because, again, it's a different tempo. It's different. So I think if you're going to sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, you better sound like Judy Garland.
I was about to say, is it the Filipino guy?
Yes.
Because I have heard that version.
Yes.
I think he's Hawaiian.
Hawaiian, sorry. But yeah, it's a brilliant version.
Mm-hmm. It's lovely.
Yeah, I've heard it. It's fab.
It is nice.
His voice, I could listen to him all day.
It's good. No, there's some lovely moments in Wizard of Oz. There's loads that you could talk about in just the film alone, or the stage production, or, we really didn't talk much about this brand new one that's just been done.
Well, are we going to go, after this podcast, are we going to go and see it? I thought we were going to go and see it, but maybe I'll just have to go on my own and report back to you.
No, I think let's go see it.
I don't know if I can deal with your wrath. If you honestly take your ruby slippers off and start chucking them at the stage, I'm going to have to... I don't want to get banned from the theatre because of your behaviour. You're going to be like those ones that were taken out of The Bodyguard. They're going to have to call the police.
No, because they were singing. I'll just huff. Just huff my way through it.
Just huff. And I can just see you tutting really loudly. That everyone around you is aware of that you're not happy.
Yeah. No, do you know what?
One is not impressed.
I will be fine. Because I actually quite liked how they've done Toto.
It's a puppet, isn't it?
Yeah, so that didn't...
Do you not think that's going to annoy you?
No, because I actually have a lot of respect for puppeteers.
Fair enough, yep.
So...
Yeah. Although the dog's very well behaved in the film. Toto does a stellar job.
Yeah. Toto was paid £125 a week. Or dollars a week.
I mean, Toto wasn't paid that, but
Toto was. I think the cheque went out to the dog.
To Toto.
Well, not Toto, because that's not his real name.
And Toto went into the bank and cashed his cheque.
Did?
I did.
And then bought some pies.
I think we need to move on quickly before we go down a rabbit hole talking nonsense. I think we do enough of that anyway. Right, on to next week.
Okay. We're kind of doing it backwards, if you think about it.
That's very true. In some ways, we've got the order of our episodes right, but then in other ways, we're back to front.
Yeah, depends what way you like to do things.
And that's as clear as mud, folks. I'm tired.
We'll be back next week.
I don't understand the word you've just said.
Yeah, we'll be back next week with a new episode and a new musical.
Are you arriving by bubble?
Yes.
Okay. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.